It is indeed a beautiful Friday morning. It's still a little dark out, but time change is thankful for that. And it's raining a little bit, but hey, you know what? It's a Friday, so it's always a beautiful day. And we got Todd Van Sickle joining us in the studio now for the first federal program. Good morning, Todd.
Good morning, Paul. Thank you very much. It is a beautiful day. Weather's a little bit yucky, but you make the most of it.
Yeah, it could always be worse. It could be negative 20 right now with a foot of snow.
Let's not go for that. Okay?
No.
So we are in warming trends, though. So
yes,
that's good. Our special guest today is Mary Kay, the Executive Director of the Compassionate Health Center. We're looking forward to talking to her today, and we'll spend some time at the end of the show talking about what's going on at the Compassionate Health Center. There's some opportunities out there for our community, and be excited to talk to Mary Kay. So welcome, Mary Kay. And talking before the show, she's Irish, so it's St. Patrick's Day. So,
hey, that works great.
So she's the only one officially dressed in green today.
Yes.
That's good.
Well, Tanner, you don't count.
That's fluorescent. You can't
shade of green, right?
Yeah. So, surviving spring break, Paul?
Yes. Yeah. Been here every day, so that helps.
Kids enjoying spring break?
Kids are enjoying spring break. They want to get outside, but it's been a little chilly this week. I told them wait till next week. It'll be a little warmer. You can be outside every day.
Well, the Times Theater has some good events today we can talk about.
That they do.
Send them to that. We'll talk about some free movies they're having in a little bit.
Yeah.
But it is St. Patrick's Day. Thought I knew a lot about St. Patrick's Day, but as I was doing some research, turned out I didn't know very much about it. There's a lot of folklore associated with St. Patrick's Day, some true and untrue stuff, but a lot of sources out there, so I wasn't sure what's accurate. And when I was talking to my wife last night about what we're going to talk about today, she said, well, what's your source? And it's like, well, I went from the History Channel. That's where I got most of my information. So
yeah,
if there's anything wrong here, I'm going to blame the History Channel.
There you go. They get paid to have facts, so if it's wrong, it's their fault.
St. Patrick was around in the 5th century. He was born in Britain, in the Roman Empire at that time. He was captured as a slave and taken to Ireland when he was 16.
Okay.
And he's the patron saint of Ireland, and also learned a little bit about what his role in Ireland was, and he helped spread Christianity in Ireland.
Ah, okay.
And learned from the History Channel that included the Trinity and the shamrock, the three-leaf clover.
Yeah.
That's kind of the device he used to introduce Christianity into Ireland, and the shamrock was the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, which I thought was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So that's why when I see Notre Dame now, I see the three-leaf clover, and
makes sense now.
I thought St. Patrick's Day had something to do with snakes and potatoes, and it does indirectly. I mean,
yeah.
The folklore was that St. Patrick drove the snakes out of Ireland, but reading more about it, Ireland is an island in a northern climate, and there weren't really many snakes there. So.
Right. May have been one or two that somebody put there and he threw out.
And potatoes had a lot to do with it. There was a huge potato famine in the 1850s or so, and a lot of Irish citizens passed away during that time, but also more than 1 million Irish citizens immigrated to the United States.
That they did.
So that's kind of where some of that comes from. You know where the first St. Patrick's Day parade was?
No.
St. Augustine, Florida, in 1601.
Oh, okay.
Which I thought was interesting because it was a Spanish colony.
Yeah.
But there was a priest there that brought that to St. Augustine, Florida. Now, you've got Chicago turning the Chicago River green, and there's parades all over the country. Boston, New York, most cities, major cities have St. Patrick's Day parades. So celebrate St. Patrick's Day today, March 17th.
All right.
Trivia has nothing to do with St. Patrick's Day.
Okay. Feed me all the knowledge, and then nope, we're not even going to talk about it now.
Yeah.
All right. What do we got?
NCAA basketball, of course.
Okay, Tanner, what do you got?
We had a question like this similar while Tanner was off, but it was about Big Ten.
Yeah.
So this is kind of in the same vein. What school has made the most appearances in the NCAA tournament and has the most victories in tournament games? Two-part question.
All right.
Indiana Hoosiers, of course. I'm wearing red and white for the Indiana Hoosiers today. Kentucky, Duke, UCLA.
Okay.
That is a very tough question, I thought, because I didn't know the answer right off.
Yeah. I have a feeling I know the answer to this, based off of the question from when Tanner wasn't here.
Okay. So,
Should
speaking
watch
of
the
Tanner, let's talk about sports, Tanner.
I did watch that program.
Yeah, most of it was off air, so you wouldn't have known anyway.
Okay. Good morning. Yes, sports locally, nothing going on. Spring break's going on in a lot of schools, so after spring break, really start diving in spring sports season.
Oh yeah.
Hard to believe it's here already, but here we are. But nationally, college basketball is kind of in the spotlight this week. Of course, not kind of, it is in the spotlight this week and this month. It's March Madness. NCAA tournament, the round of 64 began yesterday, the first round, and exciting day. Saw some upsets yesterday. Saw 13 seed Furman knock out number 4 seed Virginia, which Virginia has now lost, I think, 4 of the last 5 first round games they've been in. The one year they didn't, they won the national championship.
One of my final 2 got knocked out.
Was that Arizona?
Yes, Arizona.
2 seed Arizona was upset by 15 seed Princeton,
Yeah.
an Ivy League representative. So good for Princeton, pretty cool. They've had a good history, but nothing like knocking off the number 2 seed.
When Arizona played IU in December, they looked like an NBA team. And I think they blew out Indiana by 20 to 30 points, didn't they?
And then they beat UCLA last week in the Pac-12 tournament championship. And you weren't the only one who had them in the Final Four or national championship game. Let's just say that. There was a lot of brackets on ESPN yesterday busted after that game.
That's the way the ball bounces or it clanks off the rim, right?
I like how you put that, because usually it comes down to just a little bit of luck at the end, a bounce or a friendly bounce, friendly roll, and you're moving on or you're going home. And unfortunately for Arizona, they're going home. Number 1 seed Houston had a battle last night from 16 seed Northern Kentucky, as did 4 seed Tennessee from 13 seed Louisiana. Both Houston and Tennessee survived, but you got to bring it for a whole.
So the Big Ten has performed as usual, it seems like, but you've got some different names winning this year.
Yeah, Northwestern, second time they've ever made the tournament school history. They got past Boise State yesterday, so now they'll face UCLA, but they moved on. Maryland survived West Virginia, and then Penn State blew out Texas A&M last night. Then had Illinois fall to Arkansas. Who else lost yesterday? I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Iowa lost to Auburn, and
that was only 2 that lost. Yeah.
Okay.
So usually you think, growing up in the Midwest, diehard Big Ten fan, I always pick Big Ten games, but then they always kind of go bump in the night in the tournament, it seems like. And Iowa and Illinois did that, but we've got some up-and-comers, Northwestern and Penn State.
Well, hopefully for your sake, it's not an eye trend. Because the 2 eye schools are out. So
I'm wearing red and white, and like the last game tonight is IU versus
Kent State.
Kent State. Kent State's a tough team.
It's a rematch from the 2002 Elite Eight.
Yeah, they're a tough team.
Played in Lexington to Kentucky. That game is at 9:55 on TBS, but it could be later. Probably will be later.
Probably.
Even. I saw last night one of the games didn't tip off till about 10:15.
Yeah.
So
that's great. Have to stay up late.
Yeah, stay up a little later. At least it's the weekend.
But it's after the Purdue game tonight because they play.
Yes, they play Fairleigh Dickinson tonight at 6:50 on TNT. Fairleigh Dickinson beat Texas Southern in the playing game. And interesting matchup about this is Fairleigh Dickinson is the shortest team in the tournament. Their tallest guy is 6'6". Purdue's best player and arguably the best player in the country, Zach Edey, on the roster, 7'4". So that means Fairleigh Dickinson's going to spread it out and shoot a lot of threes.
So is it illegal to play with somebody on your shoulders?
Well, I've never seen anybody attempt, so I'm sure there's
you can't guard somebody that way.
Right.
Then they probably reach the height of Zach Edey.
Probably. So it'll be an interesting one. That game's in Columbus today. So Purdue and Indiana are the only 2 Indiana schools that made it this year. No Notre Dame, no Butler on the men's side. The women's side, Purdue lost last night. They're playing
St. John's.
A heartbreaking finish, really. I kind of tuned out because I thought the game was over, and Purdue made a run at the end and ended up losing at the very end.
Gerald's, they've got some good things coming.
They're ahead of schedule, I think. She's in year 2, and this was supposed to be her first year originally, so she jumped up. She was supposed to be associate head coach last year. When Sharon Versup stepped down, she took over a year early. So got good things going. And then Notre Dame women's are in action, and Indiana's women's will be in action.
And Notre Dame plays Utah State. I wasn't sure what time,
Right.
or today or tomorrow, but they'll be at home. So then IU number 1 team plays at Assembly Hall Saturday at 11:30. So if you're interested in college basketball and women's game, you can probably get tickets at Notre Dame or IU. I know IU's expecting a big crowd, but if you want to go out, call either ticket office and you can probably get tickets.
It's interesting when the women's tournament, historically, there's hardly many upsets in their first 2 rounds of that tournament compared to the men's. It's just kind of interesting. I was looking at some stats the other day. I didn't realize the indifferent balance there. But
Being a diehard IU fan, especially a bandwagon fan, first time ever I've done a women's bracket.
okay.
We have a family and friends men's bracket, and we've got 7 or 8 people in the women's
That's
bracket.
fun.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Of course, IU's winning it all.
Well,
Of course.
good pick for once.
Yeah.
In the women's bracket, my Final Four is all Big Ten teams.
Hey,
Nothing
there
wrong
you
with
go.
that. Conference loyalty.
Yeah.
And here's my bracket. Spoiler here. I was told by a friend the other day, if your team's a 1 seed, you got to take them all the way, right? So
Purdue?
that's who I have winning it all. So
You have to if you're
you
a diehard
you
fan,
have to try, right?
especially the number 1 seed.
Yeah. So they'll have a tough road to get there, but we'll see. Hopefully they win tonight, and then can worry about Memphis or Florida Atlantic. So,
I've got them in the Final Four, which
All
is unusual for me. And
Yeah.
I use them not even in the Final Four.
okay. Okay. Well, IU knows if they get past Kent State, they'll play either Miami or Drake. If they get past them, they'll play either Auburn or Houston. We know that after last night's results.
The NCAA selection committee has a sense of humor, I think.
Oh, I think so too.
IU's first game is against Kent State, coached by Rob Senderoff.
Yeah.
He was a guy fired because of the cheating scandal at
Right.
IU. And then if they win that, then probably will play Houston, which is the next guy fired because of the cheating scandal. And that's just interesting sense of humor.
Yeah, they know what they're doing. They like to play along with storylines, let's say a little bit.
Purdue, when I first looked at the bracket, I thought, if you get past the first 2 games, they have a nice runway. But then I looked at the first 2 games.
Yeah.
Memphis, then Duke.
Yeah.
That's a tough haul for a number 1 seed.
And a lot of people will come out, well, Purdue beat Duke. They did, but that was back in November.
Yeah.
Both teams are different now than they
Yeah.
were in November.
Exactly.
So, and that would be at Madison Square Garden, which is Duke's kind of home away from home in New York City. So
Yeah.
we'll see. Hopefully I have to worry about that come next week. Hopefully they can get past Fairleigh Dickinson tonight and either Memphis or Florida Atlantic on Sunday.
And what he's saying is if they lose tonight, he probably won't be in on Monday because he'll still be curled up in a ball.
I don't even want to think about it if they lose tonight. So,
They won't lose.
I hope not.
No, we'll do good.
I got some tidbits here this morning, Paul, and I
Alright.
included a little trivia in one of the tidbits for you.
Okay.
Not this first one. On this day in 1905, Albert Einstein finished his scientific paper detailing his quantum theory of light, one of the foundations of modern physics.
We'll be talking about that for the next 20 minutes, right?
Oh yeah, I got a lot to say on that. Here's your trivia, Paul. As a lot of our listeners probably know, or not, they're going to find out right now. You're a big pro wrestling fan.
Yes.
So on this day in 2002, WrestleMania 19 took place in Canada, Toronto, Canada. What was the main event?
I don't know.
It was WrestleMania 18, excuse me, not 19. I wrote that down. 18.
Now you made it confused enough.
I did, but he still doesn't know. He said
Yeah, no. I don't.
Chris Jericho versus Triple H.
Okay.
So if you remember correctly, it should have been The Rock versus Hulk Hogan. Who are two
Yeah.
guys who are very popular outside the wrestling ring, too, in their acting
Yeah.
abilities.
Now we probably lost most of our audience.
They're probably tuning out now. We'll suck them back in with this next one.
Okay.
On this day in 2017, the live-action remake Beauty and the Beast, directed by Bill Condon and starring Emma Watson, opened up. You seen that movie?
Once.
I've not seen the live-action one. I've seen the cartoon one, of course.
Yeah.
Big fan of the cartoon one, and the
I
live
prefer
action
it.
was decent. So it was just
I feel like a lot of the Disney live-action ones haven't lived up to the hype,
They
but-
lose some oomph because there's so much magic in the animated.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that It's
yeah.
hard to reproduce in the live action.
I think the last one I watched was Pinocchio with Tom Hanks, which Tom Hanks did a great job,
Mm-hmm.
but I still would take a cartoon one any day over the live action one. And we got some days today. Today's Red Nose Day.
Ah.
It's also St. Patrick's Day, as we talked about in the
Yes.
opening. National Corned Beef and Cabbage Day. Fan of corned beef and cabbage? No, I'm not. And it's also World Sleep Day.
Oh, I'm all for that one.
I figured
I
you
was
might
trying
be.
to tell you, is there some relationship with all those? But I thought I probably shouldn't go there.
Yeah.
I think Red Nose is more of an England thing.
It's a fundraiser also.
Yes.
too.
Yes.
And that's what it's
Yes.
meant to be today, the fundraiser.
Yeah.
So.
So you can fundraise for St. Patty's Day and Red Nose Day. Eat your corned beef and cabbage and then sleep.
Take a nap.
After you have a green beer or two.
There
Yeah,
you go.
there you go.
So upcoming events.
Yes, the Fulton County Chamber of Commerce is still accepting nominations for community awards. Those awards are Organization of the Year, Business Professional of the Year, Emerging Business, and Community Service. They're extending the deadline through next week.
Okay.
So you still have a chance. I think it was supposed to end
Yes.
this week. So
Today was the
today,
original
so
deadline.
given a week extension on that. So please go vote if you haven't done
Alright.
so. Always a great job by the Chamber of Commerce getting that around and organized. And
Yep.
it's always fun to see who wins those awards from the community.
Yeah. It's always interesting to see some of the nominations too.
That too.
Because it's like, oh, I didn't think about that
Yeah,
one.
I should have thought about
Yeah.
that. Yeah. Times Theater is showing 3 movies today. Free
Yes.
for kids all day.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
spring break activity,
Yeah.
Starts at
especially in this kind of rainy
Yeah.
day.
yeah. Starts at 1 o'clock with Jungle Cruise,
Mm-hmm.
followed by Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle, starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. We just talked about him. That's at 3:30, and then Jumanji: The Next Level at 6 o'clock.
Yes, and all 3 of those starred Dwayne.
You're right, they do, don't they? I have
Go
not seen
hang out with
Jungle
The Rock.
Cruise, so yeah, he's
That's
in a
the
lot
only
of
one I haven't
He's
seen.
They're
in
free to kids all day.
free to kids all day. And tomorrow they're showing 2 movies.
Yes.
Shrek at 10 a.m. in the morning,
Also free to kids.
and then A Man Called Otto at 7 p.m.
I've never seen that.
It's a new movie. It's good. My wife read the book and we would see the movie. It's a good movie.
Tom Hanks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So check out the Times Theater this weekend. Lots going on there. Doing a great
Yeah.
job.
Yeah.
Money news. Dow was up yesterday about 400 points. The whole week. It's kind of started at about 32,000. Right now it's at 32,000. So kind of it's been a stable week for the Dow, at least. Up and down, as we talked about.
Yep.
A little bit of business news I picked out. YouTube on Thursday said it's raising the price of its TV subscription.
I got the email
Yeah.
yesterday.
So did I, and I was like, are you kidding me?
Well, it's interesting. They first offered it at $35 in 2017.
Yes.
It's going to go from $64 to $72 now.
And I saw that they're trying to kind of make some of their customers happy by bumping down the add-ons. The 4K add-on is now going down from like $19.99 to $9.99.
Yeah.
But if you don't subscribe to the 4K part,
You don't really see a price.
yeah, it doesn't affect you. So
Yeah.
So this whole cut the cord going to streaming, it's streaming
It's starting-
creeping up.
it's starting
there.
to
It's
creep up
starting to
there.
creep
Yeah.
up,
It's
yeah.
just
because
the whole discussion we need to have with Joe McCarter or sometime.
yes, because for instance, I have YouTube TV, and not only that, I have Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
You know, HBO Max, this, and this, and then you add them all up.
You're spending more than you did on cable.
Sometimes.
Yeah. And it's getting close to the point that even YouTube TV is getting pretty close to some of the basic cable
Sure.
packages now.
Gotta pick and choose.
That they do. That we do.
So First Federal Savings Bank, we're open today from 8:30 to 5, tomorrow 8:30 to noon. We're offering Simply Free checking accounts, Simply Free business accounts. We have a great CD special going on now. For 9 months, you can get 4.32% APY. And also we have a closed-end mortgage special going on. Receive a reduced rate, lower closing costs. It's good for consolidating debt. And you must be a first lien holder with First Federal. So got some good deposit and loan programs going on. Still active in the commercial lending market and the financial services. If you have any interest in that, come in, give us a call. Be happy to help you out. We're the only locally owned bank in Fulton County. We don't want to be the biggest bank, just the best. Borrowers must meet underwriting guidelines. We are FDIC insured and an equal housing lender. Our MLS number is 399927.
And that makes us legal.
We welcome the best part of the show here, Mary Kay from Compassionate Health Center.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on this green morning.
Green morning, Yeah, Mary Kay, if you're watching on Facebook Live, is the one officially dressed in green, and she threatened to pinch me, and I said, that's okay, I don't have green on.
I'm about 80% Irish, so
Yeah, that's why
I'd be
you're telling
remiss not wearing green
a little
today.
story that your family immigrated probably through the potato famine into
Correct.
Logansport area. and-
Yes. Worked on the Wabash Canal and the Wabash Railroad, and just got to Logansport, and here I am in Rochester.
Well, that's great. Compassionate Health Care Center. Always been a great mainstay in the community, providing services to people that don't have insurance. Let's talk a little bit about your mission and maybe some changes that have happened this year and
Sure.
what opportunities are coming up.
Our mission is to serve the underserved and the uninsured of Fulton County. And one would think that healthcare insurance is affordable for everyone, and it's the misnomer of that Affordable Care Plan.
Yeah.
About 50% of our patients are what we call the class of the working poor. These people are working, some have a couple of jobs, but they're living, just to give you an example of what that means, a family of four is maybe living on about $50,000 a year. So even if they could afford the insurance premium, then we all know about those high deductibles. So someone who's pretty well can go a long time without insurance, and then all of a sudden your health starts to turn, and with no insurance, you and I discussed that a lot of people come to us, they're extremely ill. We even have diabetics knock on our door that say they just haven't been able to afford their medications for months. So we do see people that come to us pretty ill because they've not had health care.
Well, thankfully, we have a Compassionate Health Care Center to help out with that, and Mary Kay is the executive director of that, and you provide lots of services to the community.
We do.
And you serve really a large number of people.
We have right around 150 patients, and like I was telling you, while that number stays pretty static, it's what we call healthcare churn. Patients become employed and get insurance, and they leave us, and we're thankful for that. But then something happens, they lose that job, we know the job market's pretty unstable, and then they come back to us because they have no insurance. So we see that kind of churn in the healthcare. But we do offer an integrated model, which means we're not just medical. We opened in 2009. Dick Enyart and John Alley saw a need for something like this in our community, and we have served ever since. And every year we kind of looked at another part of the mission we could serve. So we started with dental. We do not do dental. We provide dental for our patients who need it medically. You can't have a mouthful of rotting teeth and have good medical health. So luckily we're able to get a grant through Real Services to provide dental for our patients. Get a lot of calls on dental that people have insurance and they just don't have any dental. We can't do that. It's not insured at all, and then we do it for the medically served of ours that need dental. Then we do vision through Family Eye Care, and tomorrow, a little plug for Akron Lions. We help with their fish fry tomorrow, 4 to 6. Come and eat fish. It's the drive-through only. The proceeds from that help to buy our patients glasses.
That's great.
And then we also network with 4C Health and Notre Dame. Tanner had to mention that they're not an attorney. But we have a doctoral student who comes to us and provides in-house mental health counseling for free. And then the big thing is we get medications for free for our patients. So we are really integrated. We're thankful for all those service providers, the local dentists, the eye care. We're so grateful for all that. One of our biggest changes this year is Woodlawn Hospital, like every other small hospital, is struggling for funds. They have supported us in an unbelievable manner.
You've done a great job.
Absolutely. Since 2009, they've been a great contributor not only as funds to our clinic, but also providing free services for our patients. That ended on January 1st. So it's kind of pushed us into a new model.
So your model's changing.
It is changing.
You're going to adapt and you're going to cope with it. And
I've been pedaling my little bicycle as fast as I could. The first thing we did is determine we could draw our own lab tests. Huge issue.
Yeah.
Nearly everybody needs lab tests. So we're now drawing those. I'm a medical technologist, so
Okay.
that part was okay.
Another hat you're wearing, probably,
Another
right?
hat, so I could do that. We've looked for lower cost options for x-rays, surgical procedures, still utilizing Woodlawn and still getting a great discount from them, but just forcing us into a little bit of a different role model.
And now you're really more dependent on community support.
Absolutely.
And the Akron Fish Fry tomorrow is an example of that. And you have a large golf outing coming up in June.
June
It's not
23rd.
too early to get registered, right?
Absolutely, June 23rd. And as I was sharing, we know that every business gets hounded for donations. So we try to say once a year we'll do a big, big fundraiser. That is June 23rd here at Round Barn. It's our golf outing. So a team is $260 and a hole is $100. Obviously, we take bigger donors,
Right.
and you guys have always been very generous. So we appreciate that.
First Federal will help out again this year.
Good, good. Tanner, we got that
Got
down.
it marked down.
Got that down. We project that this new model will cost us about $100,000 in extra expenses this year. So as you and I talked about, we have a great website, chcfulton.org, and you can donate right there through PayPal. You can come see us. We'd love to show you around. We'd love to have volunteers. We have clerical volunteers and nursing volunteers. There's just 3 of us that are part-time that are paid staff. So we run on a pretty thin margin, but that extra $100,000 is really going to cut into our money this year. So we're going to need people to help us out to be able to provide that.
We're talking with Mary Kay, the Executive Director of Compassionate Health Center, and they serve the underserved and uninsured and provide a lot of services. They're looking at your website, and some of the services, listed here, basic health care, health screenings. What are some of the other services?
Well, again, like we talked about, just general health care, just, those labs, x-rays, all those things that you need medically, but then our dental, our vision, mental health, and then this year what we chose to do was to help our diabetics, and we have the Abbott Libre sensors that they can wear. Tells them a lot about their illness. Diabetes is very, very prevalent in our community, so we're glad to be able to help our diabetics in that way. We just found out this week that we're nominated for the 3rd year in a row as Real Services Agency of the Year.
Congratulations.
So we're thrilled with that. A little embarrassed that it's the 3rd year in a row, but they told me this week that we're their favorite
Well, when you're
service
the best for the
provider.
best, that's great.
Well, thank you. And then our national organization has awarded us the Gold Quality Seal for 3 years in a row. So might be free, but it's great service to our community.
Well, thank you to you and your team and all the volunteers that help out there. That it takes a village to do that.
It does.
And also it takes a village to keep supporting Compassionate Healthcare Center. And that's what's needed from our community now, that the model has changed a little bit. So if you haven't supported them in the past, think about doing that now, and take advantage of the fish fry and the golf outing this summer, and encourage you to give them a call and take a visit out there and
Stop by and see what we do. And I guess my last plea was, if you think you know someone who does not have health insurance, send them our way. That's what we do. That's who we want to reach. We are so sad to hear that someone didn't know us and may have gone without health care. So that's what we're here for. Even if it's an interim, they're between jobs, just not a real stable economic time for them. We'll take them for whatever time they need us.
And like you said, we started out with, you serve about 150 patients, even
Correct.
though that the makeup of that population changes, but it's usually acute care because an illness or something has gotten to the point where they desperately need help. And fortunately, we have you and your organization there to help out with. And it's a great asset for our community.
It
and,
is.
We want to see it continue and on, and we ask for your support of that.
Absolutely. All right. Thanks so much for having me.
Happy St. Patrick's Day
Thank
too.
you.
And, welcome, and we're glad for all you do in the community. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much.
So trivia time.
All right.
NCAA trivia. Let me get back to the question here. Which school has made the most appearances in the NCAA tournament and has the most victories in tournament games? A, Indiana, B, Kentucky, C, Duke, D, UCLA. All of them have a lot of wins, a lot of experience.
That they do, but I grew up in the 90s, and the early 2000s, and you couldn't go anywhere without seeing Kentucky somewhere, so I'm going to go Kentucky.
And you have Kentucky Blue on today.
I do.
To celebrate that. Let me turn the page here. I think you may be right here. The answer is Kentucky, of course, with 58 appearances and 129 wins.
All right, I didn't know that was their record, but hey, I'll take it. I'm glad it was Kentucky.
Maybe we should throw Paul off and ask a St. Patrick's Day trivia question, but I don't have any on me right now.
Well, it was a wild guess just based off of experience, and I was extremely confident, so if it would have been wrong, I would have felt terrible.
Well, they're still in the tournament, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
They played today.
At least their first game. That's probably one of the teams that I'd be an Indiana fan. I would be disappointed if they lose, you know?
Yeah.
That's a part of the Indiana rivalry with Kentucky, and like the Purdue. But I'm actually rooting for Purdue this year. So, best of luck to your brackets and everybody. Check out the men's games and women's games. Got some great movies this weekend at the Times Theater. A lot to do. So we'll close with some words of wisdom. And the words of wisdom come from Natty Stepanek, an American poet.
Okay.
Unity is strength when there is teamwork and collaboration. Wonderful things can be achieved.
Hey, those are great words of wisdom.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you. We'll see you guys again next week.
Everybody have a great week. Thank you.